Yeah, so where they meet together, we call that origin. And the idea is that you can go a few steps to the right or a few steps to the left to get to a different number. So we count how many steps you have taken. So this is one step to the right. This is also one step to the left. Two, three, four, similarly two, three, and similarly up and down is also another direction you can move in. So one and two and one, two, three, and four.
Yeah,
Now,
so
the problem is that how do you differentiate between are you going left or are you going right? So for that, we have another sign. We give this sign to it, the negative sign. So negative means left or down, and positive means right or up. That is just the way it has been proposed by Descartes. So that is what the convention is. People have taken to that. So there's not really a scientific reason for why left is negative and right is not. I don't know. It's just the way it is. Descartes ne socha, humne maan liya. But the point is, it works. And what it's basically telling me is that negative and positive tell me the direction, and the number tells me how far away I am from the origin. So that means if I have this point over here, then I'm basically saying that move 3 steps to the right and 2 steps up, and you have reached this point. 3 to the right, 2 up. And this we write as 3, 2. So 3, 2 is the address of this point, which we call coordinate. Okay, so it's the address of this point on this XY plane. Now, the ratio of how high you had to go compared to how far you had to go, which we call rise over run, this has many different names. So this is called slope, this is called gradient, this is called tan of theta. So multiple names for this thing. And basically what you're doing is that if I were to join origin with this line, then how steep is this line? That is the ratio that is telling me. So comparing this to, let's suppose, this line, the second line is much more steeper. And that is because I say its gradient is higher or its slope is higher. So the rise that I have to do, which is 4 steps now, is more than the rise I had to do in that one. So this is a degree of how steep the line is. That's it. Which means that you can think of slope as a fraction. So for example, if I say my slope is 3, then what I'm saying is that is 3 over 1. You're going 1 step to the right and 3 steps up. So every 1 step you take to the right, you go 3 steps up in a line. So for example, if I start over here, then if I go 1 step to the right, I go 3 steps up. So this will be my next point. So that is my line, which basically means that you just need to know your starting point and you can draw the line that you're looking for. This is something that we don't envision in O levels. So that is why I wanted to show this to you. Otherwise, everything that we are going to see, you have seen in O levels. Similarly, if I say my slope is -2, then that basically means it's -2 over 1. Or you can also think of it as 2 over -1, makes no difference, they're the same. What this means is if I go 1 step to the right, I go down 2 steps. Or if I go 1 step to the left, because -1 is left, then I go 2 steps up, which is basically this line that if I start over here, then 1 step to the right and 2 steps down is this point. So this is my new line. Okay. So that's the idea here, that you can use slope to figure out any line, which means any line that you work with, you just want to know the starting point, the slope, and you know everything about the line. And that is so remarkable. So any line that you have, you want to know about it. All you need is a starting point. And starting point in O levels, we used to call it C, जिसको हम intercept बोलते हैं. And in American systems, we call it a B. But whether you call it a B or a C, it's perfectly fine. Basically, this is a point which is your starting point. So basically, we say that on the y-axis, this one, if this is my starting point, B or C, depending on you, then I can take this one. And if I know the slope, let's suppose my slope is 3/2, then start here, go 2 steps to the right, 3 steps up, and that is my next point. And if I know any 2 points, I know the line. So I can draw the line over there. Okay. So that's the whole point of knowing these. So that means there is a standard equation that we can use to identify any line. And that equation is basically y equals mx plus b. Now there's a reason why we keep it like that. I'll come back to this. Now let's think of, I have a random line. Okay. On this random line, I have one point which I know to be x2 and y1. Oh, sorry, x2 and y2. And I have another point. This is x1 and y1. So basically, I know 2 points on the line and I know exactly where those 2 points are. Okay. So what will its slope be? What will its slope be?
Sir, y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1.
Exactly. Ahmed, do you know this?
So this is Cartesian coordinates. Yeah, I know this.
Yeah. So this is my slope. Now pay attention. Imagine if I pick any random point on this same line, then that would probably be this one, right? So let's just call it x and y. Okay. Now I want to make things simple for me. So what I want to do is that I want to say that I have this line. So what is my slope using this point, x and y? So my slope using this point would be y minus y1 over x minus x1, right? So I'm picking this point and I'm picking this point and I want to know what the slope is, right? What would that mean? That means that because this is the slope of this same line and that is also the slope of this same line, I can put this one equal to this one. And that means that I can say that because this thing is m, I'll call this my gradient, then y minus y1 over x minus x1 is m. So y minus y1 is equal to m x minus x1. And if you know this, you know equation of any line. Now let me take it one step further. Imagine if I knew that this particular line, for example, passes through 0 and 0. Okay, so there is a third point, 0 and 0. Okay, the slope of this line would be, if I pick these 2 points, it's going to be y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Okay. The slope of this line using these 2 points would be y minus 0 over x minus 0. Or if I say, no, I don't know what 0 is, let me just say I have b here. B is my starting value or c is my starting value. Then the equation would simply become y minus b over x minus 0. Okay. And because they're the same line, I can put these equal to each other. So y minus b over x minus 0 is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, which is my m. So my equation becomes, sorry, if you get lost in this, do let me know, which translates to y minus b is equal to mx, which is y is equal to mx plus b.
सर इसका फायदा क्या है?
इसका फायदा ये है कि you are basically finding an infinite number of different paths. But using just this simple equation, you can identify what path you're on, what path you have to take, and if you want to go from one path to another, how would you do it? So basically, you're just driving and you know the paths. So Google Maps.
Lekin sir, be just more simpler if you just use the simple formula.
Where does that come from? That's what I'm trying to tell you. The formula comes from knowing that any line, for example, this random line, it has this point which is 0 and b or 0 and c, and this random point x1, y1, then my equation is going to be y equals mx plus b because I know that b is my starting point and m is my slope.
जी.
ठीक है, ये हमें यहाँ से पता है. अच्छा, now 2 things before we move on. Parallel lines, I'll just tell you what this is. I don't feel like you're in the mood to think. Parallel lines have same slope and perpendicular lines, this is a symbol for perpendicular. Perpendicular lines have slopes as negative reciprocal.
M1, M2 is equal to minus 1.
Exactly. Basically, what am I saying? I'm saying if I know one line is having the slope m1 and the other one has the slope m2, then they're both equal to each other. M1 is equal to m2. But if I know that one line has a slope m1 and they're perpendicular to each other, they are at a 90 degrees angle to each other, then the other one slope would be -1 over that, which is m2. So basically that gives me m1, m2 equals -1. So for perpendicular lines, that's the case. For parallel lines, their slopes are equal. And for perpendicular lines, their slopes are negative reciprocal. That is something that really helps us out in many questions in SAT. So it says the line shown above passes through the origin. So it passes through the region, which means it has a point 0, 0 on it. Okay. And point AB. It also goes through AB, where X is A and B is Y, obviously. Okay. So far, so good. Which of the following could be the slope of the line? Okay. So let's see. Is the line rising? It is, right? It's going upwards. It will have a positive slope. Okay. Secondly, we want to know that what will its slope be? Its slope is going to be, what is the height? B. What is the length? A. So its slope is going to be B over A. Now they've told us that A is greater than B, which means the denominator is bigger than the numerator. So in what option is that true? The denominator is greater than the numerator in B or A. But A is a falling line. It's a line that goes downwards. B is an upward line. It's a rising line. So that's why our option is going to be B. समझ आया? देखो, two things that are being tested here. Number one, how do you read a point? So any point, B and A would mean that its Y is B and its X is A, right? Now I know that this also goes to 0, 0. What will its slope be? Its slope is going to be B minus 0 over A minus 0, which is going to be B over A. That's the slope of this line. Now, that is the first concept. The second concept being tested over here is that do you know that a positive line goes up, a line with a positive gradient, a positive slope goes up, and a line with a negative gradient, negative slope goes down. Okay? So because this is a rising line, A can't be the answer. And secondly, because A has a value that is greater than B, which means the denominator is bigger and numerator is smaller, that means this can't be the answer, this can't be the answer. So my answer is only 3 over 4.
Sir, समझ आ गई, लेकिन sir, how did you come up with the conclusion of B over A? Why not A over B?
Because I just took these 2 points, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. M passes through points. If the slope is 3, what is the value of k? So it's a pretty straightforward equation. You know that the slope is 3. So that means y2 minus y1 equal to, so the difference of these two divided by the difference of these two is equal to 3. So k minus 4 minus 7 over 3 minus k. Can you all form this equation? Anybody who can't? So this is equal to 3. That's what they're saying. So it's a pretty straightforward equation. K minus 11 is equal to 9 minus 3k. So 4k equals to 20. K is equal to 5. Clear? Anybody who can't do it? मुझे बताओ.
Clear, sir.
They're saying if a line has a slope 1 by 3 and passes through this point, which of the following points also lie on the line? So basically, what does 1 by 3 mean? 1 by 3 means 1 up for every 3 forward. ऐसे ही है? Now imagine you are at a point 1 minus 2. If you go 3 forward, what point will you be at? 3 forward means x plus 3. So what point will you be at?
So you'd be at 2, 1.
No, you'll be at 4.
Oh yeah.
Because you're going 3 steps forward in x.
Yeah, no, sir, that's my bad. Yeah.
That's okay. And 1 step up, that is -1. So that clearly is C.
Sir, how do you know 1 over 3? How do you know which one of them is x and which one of them is y?
Because I told you 1/3, that's how the slope works. This is always rise, this is always run. So this is always towards the right or left, and this is always towards up or down. And in this, x is 1 and y is -2. Okay? Now, another thing is that if you have two lines and you kind of like simplify them or solve them simultaneously, then you end up with a point where they intersect. अच्छा इसको देखते हैं क्या कह रहा है. If the line ax plus 3y is 15, where a is a constant, now this is important. It has an x-intercept which is twice the value of y-intercept. Okay, so my x-intercept, what is my x-intercept? My x-intercept is when my y is 0 and x has some value. And what's my y-intercept? Y-intercept is when x is 0 and y has some value. Okay, so they're saying the x-intercept, this value of x, is twice the value of y. So x equals to 2y. That's what they're saying. Let me plug this in. Let me plug this point in. What will I get? Ax plus 3 times 0 is equal to 15, which means ax is equal to 15. Okay. Now let me plug this one in. I'll get a into 0 plus 3y is equal to 15. So that goes away, 0. So 3y is 15, y is 5, right? If y is 5, what is x? 10. If x is 10, what is this? A times 10 is 15, a is 1.5. Let's try to make sense of the situation. First of all, we have an equation ax plus 3y equals to 15. So basically it's saying that this line, that random line like that, x-intercept and y-intercept of these points, it says that the value of x-intercept, like this point, let me call it x again, is twice the value of, let me call that y. So it is 2 times y. So x is 2 times y. Clear so far? Okay. Now let me plug this point in, the y-intercept. What is the y-intercept? The y-intercept is that x value is 0 and y value is y. And x-intercept is that x value is x and y value is 0. Do you get it? Intercepts mean that where does it intersect with the axis? And obviously at y-axis x is 0 and at x-axis y is 0. So far so good?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now let me plug these 2 points in there. Or if I want, I can simply plug 2y in this one. So my x-intercept now becomes 2y and 0. Okay. I'm going to plug this point in there. So I get a times x value is 0 plus 3 times y equals to 15. This goes to 0. 3y is equal to 15. Y is equal to 5. I found my y-intercept to be 5. And if I know my y-intercept is 5, what is my x-intercept? 10. Because x-intercept is 2 times the y-intercept. So I'll just plug it in there that my x-intercept is 10, 0. So my equation becomes a times 10 plus 3 times 0 is equal to 15. 10a is equal to 15. A is equal to 1.5. Do you understand this now?
Sir, but isn't y equal to 5, not 0?
Y equal to 5 over here at this point. Y is not equal to 5 anywhere else. Over here, because the line is touching the x-axis, y is now 0. So in this one, we have a graph given to us. And we want to know what the equation is. All right, let's see. Which of the following could be the equation of line shown above? First of all, what is the y-intercept of this point, this line, the starting value of this line? Tell me.
3, 0?
It is 3, yes, 3, 0 or 3. And that means my answer should have plus 3 in there. So this is not my go-to answer. That's not going to happen. Now let's try to figure out the slope. If I go 2 steps to the right and 1 step down, I get to this point, right? So that's my slope. 1 step down, 2 step right. That's my slope.
We see then.
Do you get it?
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Moiz, Ibrahim?
Sir, no, I don't get it.
I know you're used to calculating it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So pay attention. This is my starting point. I
जी.
want to go to another new point on the line. So let's pick this one. So to get from this to this, what will I have to do? I have to go 1 step down, which is -1, and 2 step forward, which is divided by 2. Rise over run.
Yes.
That's my slope. So my equation is going to be y equals m, which is -1 by 2, x plus c. My c is 3. So that's my equation. I don't have to do any calculation. I don't know why they teach that in O levels.
तो सर अगर मैं calculate
You must have had a very lousy maths teacher.
सर मैंने कहना था कि
I mean, actually, I was their maths teacher. So
sir,
yeah.
sir, like अगर मुझे ये method जो है याद नहीं रहा तो because I see -2x plus 3 in the MCQs, 2x minus 3, तो अगर मैं simple calculate कर लूं
कर लो
y mx plus c
कर लो
की
कोई
equation,
मसला नहीं है उसमें.
चलिए ठीक
It
है.
will just take a little bit longer, but abhi give this method a chance. But if you just hit a wall with it, it's better to do another method rather than doing it wrong. Okay?
जी.
सर मुझे एक चीज काफी टाइम से बॉदर कर रही है.
क्या?
अगर वीडियो ग्रुप में सिर्फ 4 रिकॉर्डिंग्स है, इसका मतलब बाकी 6 टॉपिक रिकॉर्ड ही नहीं हुए.
नहीं. Sorry अगर तुम्हें bother कर रही. Basically, there were 3 or 4 lessons, 3 or 4 topics which we didn't study in class because they were really, really easy. Basic से थे और उनमें कोई टेक्निक्स भी नहीं थी. तो हमने उनको सिर्फ एक वर्कशीट की थी कंबाइंड और वो मैंने आपको भेजी थी कि कर लेना ओवर द वीकेंड. तो एक तो वो, तो मे बी 3 or 4 लेसन तो 3 or 4 टॉपिक्स तो उसमें हो गए. उसके अलावा अगर कोई रिकॉर्डेड नहीं है, आई विल गो थ्रू ऑल, आई ट्राई टू रिकॉर्ड ऑल द क्लासेस. तो जो मेरे पास सारी रिकॉर्डिंग्स पड़ी है ना, उनमें से मैं बैठ के आई विल सिफ्ट थ्रू देम टू सी इफ देयर इज एनी दैट आई डिड नॉट सेंड अ लिंक फॉर. सो आई विल सेंड दैट देन.
ठीक
और
है.
अगर
अभी इंडिसेस, सेट्स, ग्रोथ एंड प्रोपोर्शन और परसेंटेजेस की
मैं बता देता हूँ.
हाँ.
इंडिसेस, सर्ट्स, परसेंटेजेस, ग्रोथ, फिर उसके बाद प्रोपोर्शन था, फिर हमने रेट्स किया था, फिर एक्सप्रेशन, मैनिपुलेशन और इक्वेशन सॉल्विंग, ये हमने सिंपली वर्कशीट में दे दिया था. एंड देन वी डिड इनइक्वालिटीज एंड देन यस्टरडे वी डिड वर्ड प्रॉब्लम्स और आज हम उससे आगे जा रहे हैं.
ठीक है. जबरदस्त.
ठीक है. सो इफ देयर इज एनीथिंग मिसिंग मुझे बस बता देना. अच्छा, सो डू यू अंडरस्टैंड दिस मेथड? इफ यू डोंट, कोई बात नहीं, विल प्रैक्टिस अ लिटिल बिट तो आ जाएगा. अच्छा, इसको देखें आप.
सर इन दोनों का ग्रेडियंट निकाल के फिर हम कर देंगे y is equal to mx plus c और फिर हमने c फाइंड करना है, फिर बस.
So what if I told you there's another method to do this? Do it like this. Y minus y1 equal over x minus x1 equals n. उतना ही लंबा प्रोसेस पड़ेगा ये भी. तो you can just do it right away. 13 minus 3 over 3 minus minus 2, that is going to be 2. That's your slope. So y minus 3 is equal to 2x minus minus 2. That gives me y minus 3 is equal to 2x plus 8. Y is equal to 2x plus 11. My y-intercept is 11. ये सब कर लेंगे? Anybody who can't do it? It's pretty simple.
सर ये आपने अपने मेथड से किया ना?
हाँ.
अच्छा, ठीक है.
but you can use another method. जो मैं method आपको अपना अगर बताऊँ ना, so I made this method up. So I'll
नहीं
just share
सर,
it. सुन लो ना
like
यार, पहले तुम सीखना ही बना कर देते हो कि मैंने नहीं जानना. देखो इधर देखो.
This again, please.
Yeah, sure. So here's a method that I made myself. You just have to be good at algebra to work with it. So here's the thing. Y minus y1 over y2 minus y1 equals x minus x1 over x2 minus x1. That's a method I made myself. Okay, now let's try this. Our 2 points are -2, 3 and 3, 13. Okay, I'm going to apply that here. Now pay attention. Y minus 3, okay, over 13 minus 3. Clear so far? कोई confusion तो नहीं है?
नहीं.
I have
Okay.
a rather stupid question to ask.
Go ahead.
Above, why do you put y there, y in the numerator and y2 in the denominator? What's the difference?
So y is a general point. It can be anything. It's a variable. And y2 is a point that I know.
Okay, sir.
Equals x. X is again a variable. Minus -2 over 3 minus -2. So what does this become? Y minus 3 over 10 equals x plus 2 over 5. So that gives me 5y minus 15 is equal to 10x plus 20. 5y is equal to 10x plus 35. Y equals to 2x plus 7. तो कहीं पे कोई गलती हुई है पिछले मेथड में, इसमें नहीं. ये ठीक है. So that's my answer.
So was this the same answer as yours before as well?
No. The previous one, I think I made a mistake somewhere there. Let's try another example. आ जाएगी आपको समझ. अगर कोई confusion हो रही है तो अभी ठीक हो जाएगी. This answer is correct, by the way. The previous one, I think I made a calculation mistake here somewhere. ये कहीं पे ना कोई गलती है इसके अंदर. Oh, this should be 4. ये 4 होना चाहिए, which makes this 7. अभी ठीक हो गया. So both of these methods work. But I think the method that you're already familiar with, that is that first you do, you find the slope. So that's going to be 13 minus 3 over 3 minus -2, which is going to be 10 over 5, which is 2. So now that I have a slope, I'll do y equals mx plus b. I'll plug in a value. So let's say 3, 2 times -2 plus b. So that gives me 3 minus 4 plus b equals to 7. So now that I know 7, I can just say that's my answer. But if I want to find the equation, it's going to be y equals to mx plus b. Right? Is that what you've studied in school?
Yes, sir.
जी.
Okay.
मैंने ऐसी सोची.
So whatever you're comfortable with. I found that many students have this resistance towards learning new things in this chapter. Maybe they have bad memories or something.
ये मेरा हाल है सर.
मतलब हो जाता है ना कि मतलब स्कूल में इतना स्ट्रगल किया होता है इस चैप्टर के साथ that you don't want to mess with it anymore.
Exactly.
सिर्फ ये चैप्टर नहीं, पूरा मैथ्स है सर.
Come on. Okay. They intersect at point hk. What is the value of k? Easy. You just have to put them equal to each other to find the point where they intersect. So 3x. Come on, ये तो करने की भी मुझे लगता जरूरत नहीं है. So 5x is equal to 15, x equal to 3. When x is equal to 3, y equals to 3 times 3 minus 5, y is equal to 4. So my k, which is my value of y over here, they are intersecting at 3 and 4. Clear?
सर ये आपने क्या किया?
Sir,
So basically, yeah, क्या हो गया? If the lines this and this intersect at point hk, which means there's this line this, and they're intersecting over here, and this point is hk. We want to know what the value of k is. So first of all, we want to know what the point of intersection is. Now, how do you find point of intersection? You solve the lines simultaneously. If you don't draw them on paper, of course. So how do you do that? You have two equations. One is y equals to 3x minus 5. Second is y equals to minus 2x plus 10. So how do you solve them simultaneously? You obviously either do elimination or you do substitution. I did substitution. I put this thing in place of this. So that gives me 3x minus 5 is equal to minus 2x plus 10. Okay. So that way I found x.
I got it from where x equals to 3, but after that I got confused.
So I took this value x equals to 3 and plugged it back into this equation. Get it? Because I know that x is 3, then what is y over there?
Okay, but then why didn't you plug it into the other one as well then?
You could have done that and you would have found the same answer. Like it doesn't matter which value or which line you pick.
Okay, that's fine. I was confused about that.
All right. Now, just the last two things. We already know parallel lines. We already know perpendicular lines. There are two other lines that we should know about. One is a horizontal line and one is a vertical line. A horizontal line is always y equal to some value. And a vertical line is always x equal to some value. They don't have any slopes in there. And this one has a zero slope because it's not rising at all. And this one has an undefined slope because it's absolutely rising all the time. Okay. So these are the two special cases of equations. And yeah, that's it. That's all the things there are to this chapter.